we have several friends that we use each other's trailers, and they've taken that trailer on several to pick up things and to haul stuff. And so one of Nick's friends' truck broke down in Cedar City. And he said, and he knew about this, and Nick said, my dad has a trailer. You know, it was a big F-250 diesel pickup. My dad has a trailer you can pull it with if you got another. Yeah, I can use my dad's trailer to pull I can use my dad's truck to pull your dad's trailer, and I'll be able to get it down here so I can work on my truck down in Henderson. So we took off on a weekend and went up there. And they came back the next day and said, we had a problem. So what was the problem? Well, the spring broke on the trailer. And actually, another spring had broken, so I knew that was a possibility. He'd buy another spring and put in there. And he says, and I think I've put a strap on it to hold it up, but I just don't feel comfortable pulling it with my dad's pickup. I said, well, we can go with Big Bruce. He said, oh, that's what I'd like to do. Let's go. So he said, okay. So I got some chains and some come-alongs and binders and stuff. And we went up there, and sure enough, the spring was broken, and we jacked up the trailer and wired up the spring, and then put a chain on it and put it up over the top the other way. It's kind of like holding it. And we noticed something else under there. The U-bolts were broken, and the axle was floating up and back. There's two axles, and the back axle was moving. So we had to put another chain around it and put a binder to the back of the trailer and a binder to the front of the trailer to keep the axle kind of lined up just right. So got it all together. It took about an hour or two to rig. And he was a lot of help, and I just kind of gave advice on what I wanted to do and make sure everything was tight. And so I took off down the road. Took it pretty easy because in a trailer like that, I felt guilty because I loaned him my trailer and it was really kind of worn out. We found out later. So we went down and one of the tires of the axles came off. The lug nuts broke. The bolts. The lug nuts were tight, but the lug bolts broke off. I don't remember whether we found the tire or not, but we go over a bump and saw sparks. It was dark by then. And so we said, oh, what do we do now? And I said, well, let's move the truck clear up to the front of the trailer because it was the back axle again. So we moved the truck with the motor clear up to the front of the trailer. And because the Big Bird has an air ride suspension in the back and a semi-axle, so there's no problem with overweighing just one pickup. And then I had some more chains. I had the back of Big Bird full of chains because we rigged stuff a lot. So we chained up that axle back over the other side to the back of the pickup, and we got it so that it was about that far off the ground. Then brought it on home. I didn't go over 50, and we made it the rest of the way home. Later on, after we unloaded the pickup and stuff, my friends came over, and the guy that borrowed the trailer the most says, I'll fix it. And he had to replace some parts that were worn that held the hinges and axles in and stuff. This part that go like this was worn out. He knew how to do it. And he had some parts. He had been to Texas and bought some trailer parts and stuff. And he used a lot of them the same, so he used those to fix that trailer. So then it had all new springs and everything underneath it, and we put new rims and tires on it. And now, boy, it can go anywhere. It's really, really, really fixed. Matter of fact, it's loaned out right now. It goes up and back and forth to Circleville a lot. My friend takes building supplies up to a house he's building in Circleville. So we can rig anything.